Welcome back to the Real Estate Rat Pack Radio Show with Chris, Joe, and Rob. The crew is taking your calls, so dial in at 1-800-808-5548.
And we are back.
That was quick.
It's always really quick. You know, especially here during the break, I got to see an old buddy of mine from some old shows ago. He's back over here taking some notes down.
Seasoned.
He's a seasoned buddy of mine. That is correct.
Well, I want to welcome someone I've known for a while. She is the Houston chapter of the WCR president this year, and a good friend, and she is with Martha Turner, and it's Peggie Pentecost. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me here, even though I wasn't your first choice.
Oh, well,
you're always our first choice.
I'm always worried about that when I say, can you fill in? Can you fill in?
Exactly.
We really appreciate that you can step up.
And let you know, I have spoken with you about coming on the show plenty of times before we see each other.
Okay. So she's just trying to...
She was perhaps not Rob's first choice, but at least Chris's first.
Absolutely. That's true. Rob does the scheduling, so I had to sneak you in every once in a while. But you were my first choice.
Yeah.
Throw me under the bus. Right away. Thank you very much.
The sound of the bus.
Joe's driving it. I'm just guiding him.
Well, the nice thing is the three of you men are not competitive at all.
No, not at all. No. Well, let's talk about your career in real estate and where you started and how you ended up where you ended up. And I know you've done a lot of high-end luxury homes, but where'd you start?
Well, actually, I've done a lot of different things. Most of them all
talk about the legal
entrepreneurial.
Stuff that you've done,
Yeah. Most of them all entrepreneurial.
We'll take this time to mention it is Christian radio.
But I really have never worked for a corporation. So I am used to being a self-motivator and always doing things that I can have a lot of leeway and a lot of ability to steer the direction of whatever it is I'm doing. So that is the reason that real estate has caught my attention. I got a degree at the University of Houston.
Yeah, go Cougs.
My undergrad degree is a Bachelor of Science degree in Business Management Technology with a real estate concentration.
Oh, wow.
So believe it or not, I actually
really
have a degree in real estate.
That's awesome.
And I think eventually that became more like a landman degree, but it was a great degree, and it was a great education about the land and about the history of real estate in Texas, which is very unique. The reason I got into residential real estate, though, is something that's actually happened fairly recently within the last 10 years. I always used my license to basically do ventures on our own and find shopping centers, apartments, that sort of thing.
You're buying commercial property?
Right.
To rehab them or hold them
or actually searching for that for general partners and that sort of thing. But as time went on, I found myself selling 5 or 6 things a year by referral. So one of the brokers came to me and said, gee, why don't you put your license with me and start working the market? And I thought, well, this could be my last career before I decide to retire.
And they just go
never.
listless.
That's it. So anyway, that's how I ended up starting working residential real estate on a full-time basis, and absolutely love it. And I think you have to love what you do.
Yeah, well, I know you have a passion for it, because I remember we actually talked with you about joining our family at one time, and you had a very specific goal and idea of what you were. And so you worked that luxury market. Talk to me about what your business looks like.
Well, what my business looks like is you just do everything you can to get the word out to everyone that you know. And again, I've done other things in my life, so not everyone has always known me to be a realtor, and it's taken some time to get everybody to know, hey, I'm a realtor now. But I definitely have found that your sphere of influence and your business circle and your personal friends circle all are your best place to start, and referrals are your very best asset. And that is basically how I've built my business. And I have built my luxury business because most of the people that I find in my circle are in the luxury market.
So you're probably working more of a sphere of influence as opposed to a geographic. So you end up going to different areas of town and things like that.
Everyone ends up in the real estate business, working all parts of town, all parts of the counties, all surrounding counties. You end up, I also have a property in Colorado, so I find myself doing 1 or 2 referrals there in Colorado. And now being a part of Sotheby's, I'm able to go ahead and refer that business to those local areas.
Talk about that. And I'm a huge Martha Turner fan, and I've admired her for a very long time. Very successful businesswoman, very smart. Still works hard all the time. She made a choice, which was probably a great exit strategy for her. How's that impacted your business going with the Sotheby's brand?
Well, I believe that Martha and Tom were very much all about making sure they took care of the Martha Turner family, and it really does feel like a family there. And they had turned down the opportunity to be a part of Sotheby's on several occasions because they just didn't feel the love, so to speak. But they got to a point where I'm seeing that what Martha and Tom have done to build their business is having more of an effect on Sotheby's. And
Sotheby's having an effect on you.
Exactly. The whole local flavor of the way that business has been done by them for many, many years and the success that they've enjoyed has had a great effect on building business models for other markets across the country and even the world. So they felt comfortable and they finally took the plunge. What we're seeing is a great opportunity internationally that we didn't have before, and that is what I look forward to in the future, is working with more and more individuals from other countries. I just took the courses for the CIPS.
Don't call it SIPS.
That's right, CIPS.
So obviously it's KIPS.
And so now I'm an international property specialist, and there is a lot to know.
That's quite a course.
5 grueling days, all day long, through lunch, everything.
Richard Miranda did a great job.
He did a great job, and
we're going to have him on the show in the future talking just about selling to the international community. So.
Well, and that's one of the things, the international community is a big driver of the
community.
Luxury. Yeah, it's a big community, but it's a very big community.
It's huge.
It's a very big buyer of luxury homes in the Houston area. And how have you seen that change over the past couple of years, from where it was 10 years ago to where it is today? How's that change been?
Well, our venture to become global as the United States' mission was to become more global. Well, we are global now. And in becoming global, we now understand a lot about other countries and some of the challenges that they have faced, like Heather brought up earlier about security. And these people are used to living, like you mentioned earlier, in large compounds, if you will. So they are looking for large compound style living where they can have their whole family and they can still enjoy the security of being in a country where they're not living in fear. And many of the countries have escalated to a point where they're living with a great amount of fear on a day-to-day basis. So you find these people coming here looking for the same kinds of luxury living that Heather was talking about earlier, people wanting to move to places like Carlton Woods and Royal Oaks Country Club and those kinds of communities, as well as the older people wanting to move into places like Del Webb, where there's lots to do, right, and they feel safe in that compound kind of living style. So I think that's a lot of what we have to offer the international community.
So they're buying safety, basically.
They are. And they all we in the United States don't really grasp the concept of multi-generational living in one home. Mm-hmm. But many of our foreigners that do come are looking for that kind of lifestyle. Exactly.
That's a very interesting. We actually literally just talked about that yesterday at our office, about the difference in culture. That it's a very American thing to boot the kids out. Oh, you're 18, time to hit the road. And vice versa. The kids to boot the parents to the curb and say, it's time for the home. That kind of thing. that's an American kind of a concept. So it's really interesting that that's a feature that you're seeing, or in the luxury market as we become a more international. Houston's been very international for a long time, but I guess as hot as the market's been in this luxury end, it's going to be even more so.
Oh yeah, and a shameless plug on this one. One of the things, growing up in Latin America, I'm starting a series with Trendmaker Homes on how to market to the Latin American buyer. And it's one of the things, because what we're mentioning is there's a lot of things. One is we have a lot of clientele that's coming in to Houston and the surrounding areas, et cetera. But there is a way you have to market to them. There's what they want to see and how they want to be communicated with, and how to sell to those different levels of generations. And it's true. I mean, one of the things that we see out there is that Houston, and I say this all the time, we are the United States is a melting pot. Houston is the best representation of that melting pot.
Fort Bend County is nationally recognized as the most culturally diverse county in America.
Yes, absolutely.
Actually, in the world.
I would say so.
We're
yes.
very unique in the world because most of them don't mix cultures.
Right.
That's right.
We're such an anomaly on the planet, and that's what I like about it.
Well, I live in Fort Bend, so that probably would explain why it's so diverse.
Yes. Who else would take you, right?
That is correct.
Well, and I did venture to learn Spanish as an adult, but I conduct many tours in Spanish, especially of my luxury listings, $2-3 million homes. People will oftentimes come here from a Hispanic country, and I'll conduct the entire showing in Spanish.
And of course, Chris, English is really his second language, and it's such a gift that...
I don't speak any language.
Is it because even though someone might speak English perfectly, they like to do business details in their native language, because some things just don't interpret at all.
Exactly correct.
And I think, Chris, you find that when you're taking loan apps and they're Hispanic, they
all the
may
time.
speak English, and once they realize that you're fluent in Spanish, they just...
It's one of those things, we're very fortunate, like I said, to be in Houston, but, one of the things, I don't care what country you're from, if your native language is Spanish, or is it French, or it's Portuguese, or German, they want to do, generally speaking, those business transactions in their native tongue. And so if you have the ability to make that transition and that translation, it's always a lot better, and you'll find it'll be a lot smoother transaction right there.
Just much like Chris's taste in music, some things don't interpret.
That is correct.
That's another whole show.
That is a different show in its entirety.
We'll explain that to our guests later.
Yeah.
As they all look at each other puzzled.
I saw Ashley raise her one finger up again, and I know she's not talking about heaven, so I'm thinking we're coming up against a break.
She is talking about us coming up against a break, and we do have to let our sponsors know we are coming against a break right now. We have one more segment to go. We have going to be open mic. If you want to call in, you can reach us at 800-808-5548. Ask all of our great guests any questions you want, and you can ask even the co-host if you want to as well. Ask some hard ones, some really, really, really hard ones out there. But stay tuned. We're going to break. We'll be right back.
Cause it's already sweet. It doesn't need an oven cause it's got a lot of heat. Just add a dash of kisses to make it all complete. And that's the recipe for making love. And if you've made it right, you'll know it. It's not like anything you've made before. And if you've made it wrong, you'll know it.